off a couple. He's still going. Butler over in the corner. That's the line. Over the line he rolls. Barossa, Retta. Okalita to turn it over. Oh, he's got it again. He's got to go. Spry will do very well. Spry will go. Port Adelaide will push out. And they will push on to them. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Barossa. Finally, we are here after 2 years of talking about being here. We finally got up here. Ladies and gentlemen, my name as always is Dave Webb. I'll be joined in commentary today by Fraser Vivian. Fraser, how are you?
Oh, well, thanks, Dave.
Good.
To see you.
Wonderful to see you again. Aerial shots brought to you as usual by Wojtek. Again, they're not live. We do these before the game. But how good does that look?
We
have said that, you know, the Barossa is probably one of the most picturesque rugby clubs going around, and that just proves it.
Yep.
Just away to our right is the hills of the Barossa. It's absolutely fantastic.
It's certainly a lovely place to live and to work, and you know the ground here really does paint a lovely picture.
And you're saying to live and work. We should point out that you are the local doctor around here, aren't you?
I'm one of the local doctors.
One of, that's good, because I was worried that you were going to get a phone call at some point during this and have to rush off.
I may be on call for a hospital down the road today.
Okay, so if you go quiet, we know why.
Exactly right.
Okay, so Souths have made the trip up, South Road and then up the new Northern Expressway, which is getting better and better every day. They've made the trip up north and they will be taking on the men from the Barossa. We are about ready to go. I think we're going to probably spend some time today just talking about Barossa and where they sit right now, because obviously yourselves and Elizabeth are in a little bit of an interesting situation where you are. But I had a long chat with Nigel Peters, one of the senior coaches, before today's game, and we put some things to bed.
Yes.
I had the chat with him, and all positive for the future, which I think is more important than anything else. So, Souths in their usual red and green hoops, we've seen them before, and then the pink and black hoops will be the Barossa. See the results: 2-10 for the Barossa, 7-5 for Souths. Incredible first half of the season for the men from Bailey Reserve. And we are off and underway, and Souths will take the first kickoff. Wigan at 9, Bush at 10, and Cami Kamitha will have his first run. He's actually changed jerseys. He was running around in a Barossa jersey a couple of years ago.
Indeed he was.
Then they will go out wide. Big contact. Navatu just making a little bit of space. Then they will come outside to this near side, to Hade Tamai. Nothing for him there, so they will go again. Wiggett to Navatu again. He just puts his head down, lowers his head. There is a Barossa player down, hasn't moved. I think that's Cooper. I think that's Mark Cooper who hasn't moved. Souths will go over and score the first try. Just trying to see. Coops has gone to his shoulder. We might lose you earlier than we thought. We've got a backup for you, Fraser.
I'll wait for the call.
He's gone at his shoulder. Oh, I just see that there, actually. He just reached an arm out, and I think he might have just popped it. We could probably get analysis from you on what you think he's done. But they have gone over, and Brody Porter will score the first try of the game. Just too big and too strong, Navatu. I think he's going to cause you some problems in your midfield.
Yeah, I think you're right. Might be right there.
Yeah, once you get the big fellas that close, he's getting his wrist tape cut off. I'm not entirely sure that's going to help him, but if we see the replay again, he just reaches out with that arm and he just ran straight through it, and I don't think it would have been very comfortable. Just see here as he reaches out, he knows straight away that something's done. It could be wrist.
Might be wrist, yes.
You can't put them back in, can you?
No, they're not fun to put in, that's for sure.
He's not holding the shoulder. Good line speed early on though from the Barossa. Nice to see them trying. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
It didn't look very good. almost straight away. So that's Mark Cooper, who's the president of the rugby club, been the president for a while.
Been the president for some years now, and he's holding his shoulder quite awkwardly as well.
Yeah, I don't know whether that's pain, but Tamai will send it on its way. The assistants didn't move, but it just didn't have enough juice in it. So very early doors, Southern Suburbs 5, Barossa 0. You've been on the end of some fairly decent scorelines over the year, but I was talking to Nigel, a lot of injuries around the club this year.
Yeah, we have suffered a few injuries. We've had some key people particularly go down with a few fractures, and poor lad with a shoulder where he tore his pectoral muscle off the bone, which wasn't that much fun. So we've been a bit unlucky this year.
So the kick didn't go the 10, so there'll be a scrum in midfield. And again, Souths have split. So not utilising all of the blind side. So Joel Wiggett will feed the ball into the scrum. They have split. They've got Jack Johns out to the right hand side and Jack Bush over on this side. And Shaw will go to Wiggett. Wiggett will look to step inside, beats a couple, then we'll send it out to Johns. And Johns will miss out onto that far side. I think that's Isoa who's out there. Johns stands in at 10. Good, straight, strong run from Dave Eaton. Did enough to make a mess of it. Johns. Inside to Purcell. Johns again, staying at the 10 to Cami Kamitha, who just got a bit nervous. Dropped it. Penalty though. Feels like an offside. Yep, offside was the penalty. Quick tap. Out the back. It's not going to end up in South's hands, and Barossa will get the ball. They'll just look to try and make another couple of inches, just to try and make the kick a little bit easier. Interesting in goals here at the Barossa. And they will kick it away, relieve the pressure. Because while it's a cricket oval, it's quite compact as a cricket oval.
It is indeed. You'll see in that closest corner that the in goal reaches right up to the boundary fence. And
slopes up as well. So I think if you were a smart kicker, you'd aim for that bit and let the ball hold up at the back of the in goal. Cami Kamitha to put the ball in. Porter off the top to Bush. Bush looking for a little bit of space. Doesn't quite find anything. And then gets it stolen. Now they're away. Can they do anything? Arm stays down. I think the player almost gave himself up. And then we'll send the way out. Moore just trying to find a little bit of space, but is bundled into touch, and they're going to come back. So he did give himself away, I think. Hade Tamai, I think, with the more lazy than anything else, and we've seen it quite a lot over the last couple of weeks. Just lazy and hanging an arm out there.
Yes.
Kick to touch is good. So the Barossa will find their way into South's territory for the first time today. Good line out off the top. Now they can launch. Look into midfield. Good tackle. Met at the gain line and allowed no further, but they have managed to recycle. Looping pass outside. Little in and out against Tamai. Just lost. All all a bit scrappy at the moment. Going to come back for the original knock-on. So it's an interesting one for South, who are coming up the hill. Again, speaking to some of the coaching staff from South, they've rested a couple of their A-grade players, and they're giving them an extra week to get over the bumps and bruises that they've had from this season so far. So it's a little bit of a mismatch, mishmash, sorry, this South's A-grade side. Obviously, Barossa have had to deal with injuries coming in and out, but is this relatively settled?
I think this squad, certainly is a pretty regular squad for us. We've had, obviously, as I said, those few key people who are missing just over the last 3-4 weeks, which does make us a little unsettled, but most of the squad have been playing together for the whole season.
Flat ball didn't work out as they wanted to, but Tamaya's managed to make something of it. Interesting to see Isoa stuck out on the wing. We haven't seen him yet this season. I think he's been ill. He was ill the last time we saw Souths play. Wiggett to Johns to Kami Kamitha. Not quite a shepherd, then they will come out to Porter. Porter with an inside ball. Strong for the first couple. Tackle is successful. It was unconventional, but successful. Eaton into midfield. Klopp manages to stand on offload to Eaton, and again the defence is good. It's all a little bit last ditch from the Barossa side at the moment, and then just simple hands out to Purcell, and he will go over. Second try of the game.
Felt a bit inevitable, that one, didn't it, really?
Yeah, I think as soon as we're sort of getting into broken play, there are moments where the Barossa defence is good, but it's scrambly. And then they just ran out of numbers eventually. Untouched over the line. We'll try and get some news on Coops. I don't know whether he's going to come over and see you and just get a quick
consult.
Oh, it might be a live consult.
Yeah.
And see, we'll go over. So we will get some injury news. Fraser has actually just been taken away from us. Just to have a quick look at it. So Butch will take over. Tamai took the first kick. It's on its way, but no, didn't even get any height on it. So wrist, shoulder?
Wrist and quite a likely fracture, unfortunately.
Oh, okay. Well, we wish him the best. I did hear you say go to Lyle McEwen, so I think if you're having to go that far.
Yeah, unfortunately, yes. If you stay locally, unfortunately, they'll be able to assess, but won't be able to necessarily treat it. So, off to Lyle McEwen.
That'll be an uncomfortable trip, won't it?
Yes. There's a few bumps between here and there.
So away the restart, good restart. That's going to drop just outside the 10. Knock on. And the Barossa will restart. Yeah. So there's glimmers of, and every time we've seen one of the lower teams play, there are always glimpses of what could be. You just got to get that consistency right across the board.
The basis is there. There's no doubt about that. And there's certainly some really solid players out there. As you say, just consistently putting it together. That's the challenge.
So scrum to the Barossa inside the South's half. I think they just got a little bit panicky the last time that they got ball in hand. Just losing footing, and it's probably not a bad time to talk about the pitch. I've been up and in the Barossa and seen this at its worst. It looks pretty good today, but as we saw from that one, it can still be quite spongy, I think is a good word.
That's an excellent word. There are certainly some patches out there that are a bit softer than others, and you can probably appreciate on the pitch the diagonal lines there where they've done some work on drainage over the past 12 months or so. And it's certainly a lot better, and particularly in a year where we haven't had a lot of rain, it's better, but yeah, still some work to be done, I think.
So they are out. McCarthy running things from midfield, and now they manage to try and get her on the outside, but manages to shake himself away. Does very well into the 22. Support comes. They'll go again, just a little bit too far in front, but they have managed to tidy it up. Gone a step backwards, but still have the ball. And out to that far side, and again, very, very strong defence from Southern Suburbs. Again, they will go hard, and again, Southern Suburbs will shut the door right on the gain line. McCarthy shows and goes. Pops it up more in hope than anything, but support runner was there in Pelquest Hunt. Now they go out to the far side again. Nice phase of play from the Barossa, and have managed to wrestle it back. Buzignac testing me a little bit with these names.
Yeah, the French connection.
Then they will go again. Just struggling to get past the gain line. Klopf might have hands on. I think I saw an arm out in the way of the Barossa. Into the 22 again. So they got there, went backwards, managed to get back again. They're going to come back for the penalty. Our referee today, making his Space Break Sports debut, Quinton Fleischfresser. They've really tested me today.
Interesting, people should assume new names just to
I know,
test
right?
you
Smith, Quinton Smith.
Formerly Smith.
And that's a good kick, around 10 metres out. So let's see what they've got from a set piece for them. So the Barossa will have a lineup. Half back in, the number 2 jumper. Messy again, but it could work out. Oh, Cami Kamitha is. We'll have a look at that. He can't play that on the floor, but they are 2 yards out, not even meters. They'll go again. Eaton with a massive hit. Again, will take them backwards. Got numbers out left if they can get it out. It's going to go on the bounce to McCarthy. Reverse pass all the way. Again over the top. Finally makes his way to a pink and black jersey. McCarthy putting on the show for the cameras. And they will go again. Flat ball. Buzignac, but again, you see how far back they've come, and that's testament to the defence from South. McCarthy again puts the ball on the boot. How's the bounce? Oh, Eaton did very, very well. Came across, no he didn't. I thought he went directly ball, but I think he's gone man. Penalty try is the shout from away to our right, which, you know, fair. That's the point that I think that's a penalty. Because Cami Kamitha is on the ground, he's at the game. And then the little kick through from McCarthy, well weighted, very, very well weighted. And then does Eaton go man or does, no, Eaton goes man. Oh no, it's Stanojevic. It is his birthday today, Steven Stanojevic. I know didn't quite work and has been taken by the Souths. What can the Barossa do defensively? Did well to just mess up the ruck, but inside, Purcell is away. Has the fullback to beat, puts the ball to boot. And that's why you don't kick if your number is lower than 9. Yes, we caught it on camera, Dylan. So the Barossa will have the ball to go in. Pete Muchamore will be putting the ball into the lineup. The last one, he'll want to have another go. It's messy, but it's come there, and quickly they get out to McCarthy. Good hands from McCarthy. Steps inside one, manages to get his hands free. Again, strong over the ball, South. It's been a strong facet of the game so far for Southern Suburbs. Klopf. Again, good offload. Johns trying to get his hands free, just manages to roll through, beats a couple, and takes on McCarthy and manages to get extra yards after that as well. So again, just how quickly they turn defence into attack. Bush out to Navatu, then out to Rowe, and Rowe will just put his foot down. Throws through the last tackle, goes over in the far corner, and just like that, Souths go the length of the field. All of that good work from the Barossa run done in less than a minute, it feels like. Almost had him, and then Rowe will go over. Well, what you do?
Yeah, just always those few metres behind and playing catch up the whole phase there.
Yeah, and it's been really watching South at the breakdown. They're generally first to get hands on. You have to work really hard to clean them out of that ruck and get them away. So still waiting for our first conversion of the day. Nearly 20 minutes in. South's 15, Barossa 0. And he's pulled that one, so we remain conversion-less through this one. But just talking about Souths and Jack Bush, who's just taken the kick. He's out there. His dad, Derek Bush, has played at Souths for a long, long time. Joel Wiggett is out there, Ian Wiggett. I don't think Wiggy's made it up today, but and then Sam Rowe. They've all come through all the junior grades, and the dads now get to come up to the Barossa and have an afternoon.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's certainly something that we're seeing a lot, and now starting to see for our chaps as well. Is some of those players who've been juniors for us and who are pushing up into the seniors now, which is something we've been lacking for forever. But now you see out there today, we've got at least 1, 2, 3 that I can see, 4, 5 of this team have been our juniors within the past 2 years. So it's lovely to see those people pushing through. Well,
the under-18s are sat second in their league, just behind Brighton, and you would expect to see them come up. And Nigel was telling me that the 16s are going very well, and so are the 14s. And training numbers are good on a Tuesday and a Thursday, so the future is pink.
Yes, no doubt about that. We're very, very pleased with how our junior program is progressing. And seeing some of the fruit of that coming through is great to see, and the future looks pretty good, although the present is tough.
Yes. Wiggett again to Johns. Johns will go inside to Eaton. Moore gets there. Yeah, I was going to say he'll do very well to get away with that, young Connor. I didn't teach him that. Then to Kami Kamitha, into midfield to Klopf. Klopf manages to get his hands free. 2 number 10s go at it. Not held, so can go again. Wiggett again, out to Johns. Johns will stop. There's another Barossa player down and not moving. Oh, there's a little bit there.
Giving us a wave.
Oh yeah, he's got his hand up, he's okay. Well, I don't think he's okay. So another injury for the Barossa. I think that might be Florian Buzignac, judging by the headgear. I mean, we've seen his hand up, but he hasn't moved very much. Running repairs for Dave Eaton as well. Message coming out from the south sideline as well. It's a really interesting. It's a really interesting balance, isn't it? Obviously, Nigel and Travis, who are coaching the A grade here, I've got to get through. You've got to get through this season. I mean, exactly. You are going to go into a final spot. Like basically everybody plays finals at the end of this season, but you know, you're going to be win or go home rugby from the moment that you start with the finals. You've got to get yourself right for a finals run. you know, Nigel, who I spoke to, really quite happy to have played the bigger teams. He wants to play against the bigger teams. I think a lot of people have said they just want that second half tweaking a little bit, but certainly the challenge that they've had to play against, they're not playing the same three teams all year.
That was the frustration of last year in particular, was those same three teams coming up against week after week after week. And not that we don't love them all, but it'd be nice to see a variety of faces.
Yeah. And then I think the second, on the flip side of that coin, is South. How does South get ready for a game like today? So I should look actually where they are, because they are potentially going to end up sort of in that fifth spot. Although Port Adelaide could sneak that. It's between South and Port Adelaide really, as Earnshaw goes for a wander. McCarthy gets him. Not quick enough though. Try scored. Craig Earnshaw rolling back the years and scoring under the post. McCarthy nearly got him. I think he got him short, but momentum just carried the big fella over. And off the line out, off the top. Well, he missed him the first time and then had to go and try and make up for it. Just didn't make up for it quick enough.
No.
But just going back to that, South having to get ready today. I mean, so they are likely to, unless Port sort of pip them, they're likely to finish in that fifth spot in the top tier.
Yes.
So they've got to kind of prepare for that, and obviously they've rested some people today. Be interesting to have a look at the fixtures next week. So they've got Burnside next week at home. Who have you got? You're away at Elizabeth.
That's
so,
right.
So you've had 2 wins this season. I think a little wry grin as Jack runs back. He might have kicked one. Port have got Onkaparinga, hosting Onkaparinga. Old Collegians and Brighton would be a nice one, and then Adelaide University and Woodville. But the South's run in Burnside, Old Collegians, and then they're into finals. So let's just have a look at Port's running actually. So Port have got Onkaparinga. Oops. Onkaparinga, and then they're up here. So it could really come down to the wire for that 5th spot. Navatu, he will get going, draw, give, and Hamai really should make this one count, and he's made to work for it, but he gets there eventually. He will go round underneath the post, and Souths will push that lead out again. So we kind of get to that point. How does South prepare them for the competitive rugby that they've got next week, which is hosting Burnside?
Yeah, it's tough, isn't it? Obviously, wanting to rest a few people to get them right for those more competitive games also means they're putting together a squad that isn't the same as week in, week out. And the challenge for the following week, changing gears from one week to the next.
Yeah, and then from a Barossa point of view, you'll just take the short trip. It's a fairly short trip for you, finally. You'll take the short trip down to Elizabeth next week, and as Bush will knock that one over, and hopefully chalk up your 3rd win of the year.
Yes, our first win this year was obviously our first for almost 18 months, which was very welcome, of course. And then again at home, last minute win against Elizabeth was very welcome. So it's always tough when you're battling it out for the wooden spoon, essentially, of the competition. But we had the last game in particular was a particularly good game.
Is there a feeling around the club that you're almost waiting for the dam to burst? You're just waiting for this under-18 side that's been good to start filtering through?
Yeah, and certainly there was a hope that this year would be that year with the numbers of under-18s that we had come through this year.
Well, Souths are out again. Klopf sends it out to Porter. Porter is brought down. Wiggett to Bush, then into midfield to Eaton. Runs hard, does Dave Eaton. Now they will come back this side. Klopf to Tamai. Tamai will drop a short ball to Stuart Reid. Wiggett again. To Rowe, to Kami Kamitha, who shows the dummy. Klopf will stand in at first 5. And off they go again, out to that right-hand side, inside to Eaton. He goes without it, so it will be a Barossa scrum. So we are live on Facebook. If you have any questions or you want to say hello to us, you can. Send us through a message. We'll do what we can to get any questions answered. As long as it's not about finals, because I'm still not really over the top of that. I did get a message from Piers Rowan. There's a couple of Souths people watching us up in Queensland. Serge and Piers watching us in the sunshine, I'm assuming. So the Barossa will have ball in hand again and just have to work. Klopf this time couldn't get hands on. They dealt with him well enough. Callum Fox just trying to make some extra yardage. Yeah, penalty advantage coming from that one. Collapsing on the wrong side. So there is a change at halfback. Joe Samuel has gone into halfback. Taking his time, which I don't think is a terrible idea. I think you need to take your time. I think the Rams would like to take a little bit more time off the clock and just make sure that everything's okay. Souths really come into their own in broken field rugby.
Yeah, no doubt about that.
So you just control the pace of the game, control the possession. South certainly can't score if they don't have the ball. So 10 minutes to go on the Wojtek scoreboard. Souths 29, Barossa 0. So a line-up just inside Barossa's own half. Pete Muchamore will be the man we watch it again. Nice little variation to Moore at the front. He'll take on Wiggett. Wiggett strips him away, but they do manage to keep possession, but then it's stolen by Stanojevic. And Klopf will go. Sorry, that's Isoa will go on the outside. Looking for support on the inside. McCarthy, who's had to put a shift in defensively, makes the tackle again. Porter to Stanojevic. Thought about passing and then thought better of it. Ran through the first tackle, not the second one. Huey Jordan managing to wrestle him under control. Eaton. Round the outside to Klopf. Klopf has 2 to beat. Can't do it. Support is there. They will have numbers out to the left, but Stuart Reid probably doesn't need them. And Hika Stuart Reid will go over. One for the Front Rowers Club.
He had a big gap and through he went.
The old front row sidestep, I think, came from him as well. Yeah, he wanted it 5 metres out against the back. I think you back yourself in every time, wouldn't you?
Fair odds there.
But again, we just saw how quick the momentum swings.
Yep.
When the Barossa are doing okay, and then one little mistake, one little knock on, one little turnover, and then very, very quickly we're back the other way. So a new kicker, Navatu, and he'll go to the bottom of the queue as well. A big smile. So who's next on the list? So the Barossa will have another go at this restart, which they've got it right once. 30 points to nil as we start really to think about half-time. Certainly at this point, Travis Gotch and Nigel Peters will be thinking about what they want to say to their troops. That one is driven long just to make sure. Finds its way to Jack Johns. McCarthy has got him again. Offload to Rowe. Good jackal. Should be a turnover. Is a turnover. Now they can go just outside the 22. Just snatched at it. That's going to be a turnover for the knock-on. Consistency is the word, isn't it? You just need a little bit more consistency.
Exactly right. Yeah. Those little flashes that look so great until that one last hiccup, as you say.
Yeah. You need to be more of a floodlight than a strobe light at the moment. So Joel Wiggett will put the ball into the scrum. I think from a scrummaging point of view, it's been relatively even. So Wiggett will go out to Bush. Bush has Navata was on the long run. The fullback, not entirely sure he wanted to play in that game. Then a little bit of a handoff, and then the winger will finally come over and he will make the tackle. But the numbers in green and red are now starting to stream forward. Eaton, I don't think it was meant for him, but he took it anyway, and he will pop it down underneath the posts. It's just been too easy for them off the turnover.
Yes, yeah, no doubt about that. And again, it's just that speed and the consistency that Southside has.
So once he got that far in front and that far behind the defensive line, they were always going to struggle. I'm convinced that pass wasn't for Eaton. No. But he decided he was going to take it. See, Stanojevic wanted the big miss pass, you see. He wanted to see the miss pass. Eaton was having absolutely none of it. So we're back to Bush, back to Jack Bush. He's going to have a go. And we will go through again. So the most successful kicker of the day, Jack Bush. I think he's got 2. I think maybe he's just taking the ones in front now.
Low-hanging fruit.
It's always the sweetest. So another restart. I mean, I know it would be a small victory, but if they could keep them below 50 before half time, I think would be an achievement. The other thing is as well, Fraser, is we talk about these results and we talk about, why should we do it and this shouldn't happen anymore and these are too lopsided. Let's not forget the World Cup's about to start. The World Cup's about to roll around. And you will see, as Johns will go out and give the ball out to that far side and Isaiah will stroll over and he will score another one, you will see these score lines.
We are like pool rugby for the World Cup.
At the top level of rugby, even at the top level of rugby, you will see that. There is a disparity between the very best and the not as good.
Yeah.
But let's not forget, 8, 12 years ago, we were watching Argentina and saying, there's absolutely no way they should be involved in a World Cup. They're not a rugby nation. They shouldn't play rugby. What are they doing?
Exactly.
And they were getting stomped in the opening rounds, and now look where they are. The likes of Kenya, who, took some absolute beatings, but they'll come back and look at what they're doing with their sevens and stuff like that. So the only way you're going to get better is to play against better opposition.
Exactly.
Unfortunately, while we sort of bet into this, we're going to see some lopsided scores. Straining my eyes to see who that one is out there. He's given it a good go. Flag stay down though. Is that Joel Wickett? Who's had a go at that one? No, it's Jack Johns has had a go at that one. So what's that, our fourth kicker of the day? Fifth? Fourth?
Fourth, I think.
Fourth. But Tamai, Bush, Navatu and Johns. See whether they can get them all to have a go. So we're going to start again. Joel Samuel will restart. Impressive ink on that young man. He'll drive that. Johns will pick it up. Beats the first one. Looks for a little bit of space in midfield and finds it. Kemi Kamitha standing at 10 will drop it to Klopf. McCarthy's done very, very well, but they're going to... Yeah, the penalty. It's we'll get into that phrase. Tamai looks back inside and turns it over, and we're going to go back for the penalty. And the penalty will be for not releasing because he's gone to ground.
Yes.
McCarthy is in by far and away the more dominant position.
Oh, no doubt
He shouldn't be
about
punished for that.
No.
I could make a soapbox just on just on this tackle, this surrender
Don't let
tackle.
me hold you back.
Just fails to find touch. Dummies the kick, steps inside. Tries to find his support, does find his support eventually. Now they will go. And the more experienced Barossa players going for a run. Alan Bland.
And son Joe's out there having a run. He's down from Queensland for the weekend. He's popped on a jersey.
Out the back to McCarthy. Much more nice hands from the hooker. Again, just losing a little bit in contact, but they'll go again. Slowed down again. Behind to McCarthy. McCarthy looking for a little bit of space. Not great news, but Common Moore is slow to get up again. I think he's tougher than that, though. I think it'd take a fair bit to get him off.
He knows it's half time.
Penalty advantage. So now they could possibly let the reins go a little bit. They do have an advantage. They can play a little bit. He's just going to have a chat. I think the assistant's seen something on the far side. He's going to have a chat with his assistant. But certainly two different halfbacks. Joe Samuel certainly wants everything to be in the right place before it comes out.
Yes.
I don't mind that as long as you've got the platform set in front of you.
Bit of a double-edged sword, isn't it, really? You're waiting for your chaps to get all set up, but gives South the opportunity to do exactly the same.
He's looking for someone. It's Navatu or Nuatu. I don't know whether that's a V or a U. But he wants to speak to someone. I haven't seen him check his pockets to see whether he's remembered his card yet. It's normally a dead giveaway, that one. Have I still got them? Which pockets?
No mystery there, is
there?
there?
Which one's it in? I think he just wants to chat with him. So he can keep it down. Certainly pointed over in this direction, kind of like if that happens again, you'll be sitting on halfway.
One more time, you'll be in commentary.
Yes. Oh, didn't quite get hold of it, but it will be a Barossa ball. So there is Harde Tamai, who is a favourite of Space Quake Sports. He played rugby league. He was certainly one of the founding members of the Space Quake Sports broadcasts.
Ah, lovely.
Shortened line out, and again they just mess it up. So Earnshaw will go. They have to work very, very hard to keep it below 50 before half time now. Klopf. Short ball to Eaton. It's opened up in front of Eaton. McCarthy again comes across to make the tackle, but can't get there in time. He will go over the line, and another try to Souths. I think this is one that Bush will probably have a go at as well. Yes. I think it's close enough.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, no, I'll take these ones. You take the difficult ones. Good line from Eaton, and he runs hard every time. And geez, McCarthy's put a shift in, hasn't he? So he's made that first one and then had to get up and make the covering tackle as well.
There he is.
There was some question about the grounding, but there's absolutely no question that that's a try. Oh, Tamai. Ade Tamai, he's come back and he'll knock it over. So we've got 2 successful kickers now, and that will be half time. So they didn't keep it to 50 before half time. And we will take a very, very short break, and we will be back with you from half number 2 for the beautiful Barossa Valley. So, welcome back. South's leading this one very, very comfortably. The thing I do love, there's no consistency in how long a half time lasts. So, sometimes it's a good 20 minutes, other times it's, 3 minutes and done. So we'll see whether we get more of the same. And unfortunately we do. Jack Johns has managed to find himself one-on-one with the fullback. What can he do? Just tries to run through him, does run through him. Fullback comes back for a second go and gets him. Didn't really want to give away a penalty there. Probably would have been time on the naughty chair. Well, nice offload from Eaton to Tamai, and Tamai will give it to Earnshaw, and Earnshaw will go over. And I have to say, that feels like a record. By our clock, it was about 32 seconds. That feels like the fastest try we've seen in Space Quake Sports from a restart. Good hands from Eaton. Tamai draws the last man, and then Earnshaw from there. You're not going to stop him. And there's he went down. I don't know whether he's up though. I have to say, from experience as well, when you're on the end of as Tamai will not be successful with that kick. Injuries which you generally wouldn't feel all of a sudden become a little bit more serious when you're on the end of a defeat. There we go. That is footage of the girls' game from before. This is a lovely part of the world. It's interesting now, actually. Now we do have the drone footage. We get to see the locations of the clubs and where they are, and some lovely little suburban grounds. Wiggett looking for a little bit of space. Oh, Barossa have got hands on. Keep hold. Oh, unlucky. I think the whistle should have come a little bit earlier, Mr. Fleischfresser. Purcell forward rolls out of that one. Change at halfback and a change at 10, I think. Klopf looking to get his hands free. It's been wholesale changes, I think, for South at half-time. Navatu will look to make some yards, and he does, and McCarthy again has to make the last tackle. Flag stay down, play on. Well, there's been a lot of changes for South, I think, at half-time. Eaton is still there, though. That's got to be a Barossa hand. It's got to be a South penalty. I don't think there was any way that was coming back any other way. So we'll see whether we can get some of these changed. Connor McCarthy wearing the number 21. It looks like he's stepped into number 9. Wiggett is still out there. Looking at the bench, Stuart Reid has come off. Iso has come off. Jack Bush has come off. I had a word with Jack's dad at half-time. Mm-hmm. He's going to have words with him about the kicking. was not overly impressed. So I think Rowe is staying at fullback. There's Hardy Tamaya's moved from the wing into inside centre. That one will go against the head, and Barossa just will pop it down. Taken over, so 5-metre scrum. Interesting one. The National Rugby Championship is coming back to South Australia this year on the 7th of September, I think, if my memory serves. We'll see New South Wales Country play the Rebels Rising at Souths. New laws are going to be trialled in the NRC, and one of them I am very, very impressed with. If you get held up over the line, it's a goal line dropout.
Interesting.
I like it. I feel that the defending team should be rewarded for that. I like that one. There is another one. I can't remember what the other one. Oh, it's a 50-22. We're talking about it a bit more as the Barossa Rams will clear their line. So if you kick from within your own half and put it inside the 22 on the bounce, you get the line out.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I like both of them.
Yeah.
The NRC is obviously where they're going to trial all of the new laws and stuff, but I like both of them. Because what they're trying to do is create a little bit more space, and the wingers will have to cover that.
Yeah.
Because if you're playing too compact, then you just kick over the top, bounce it into touch, and have the thing. But certainly the held up over the line, I like it.
Yep.
Eaton. Not to build the driving maul from here. Klopf looking to get hands on. He doesn't want to give it up, but finally it finds its way back. Stanojevic is at the back as well, just directing traffic. It's in the hands of Stanojevic now, and he will just try and rumble his way over the line. Can he get there? Just short, looking for it. Hand has gone up. He's going to go and have a chuck with his assistant referee. Difficult from this side to see whether he got the grounding. He did get the grounding. Tried to Stanojevic on his birthday. Happy birthday, big fella. There we go, we see it. On the line is a try. So 66 points to 0 with the kick to come, and it's a difficult one, so they're probably drawing straws out there. Conor McCarthy, I think it is going to have a go at it. It is Conor McCarthy. Well, is there a more quintessential Barossa rugby shot than that, with the vines in the background?
Isn't it beautiful? Yeah.
So he'll send that on its way. Sounded good. And the flags go up. Should have been starting. So it looks like there's been another change as well. As, Craig Earnshaw has come off. Just trying to look and see who's replaced him. I was looking for him. There you see it just on the line. And Tyrone Tapayo. I'm not sure whether he's a president again, but he's certainly a big personality at South Rugby Club, and his fingerprints are all over it. Purcell showed the pass. Eventually brought down. Tapayo thought about playing halfback. Out to Wiggett, to Kami Kamitha. Has to pick it up off his knees. He will always look to hand off, and does to Tapayo. There is Tapayo. Off to Klopp for McCarthy again. Has to make the tackle. He's going to come back South's way though, but they've got hands on it and they've got an advantage. Across halfway for Barossa, just a little bit isolated. Did very, very well to just roll over, and the arm comes out. What can they do? McCarthy steps back inside, beats the first one, can't get away from the second one. Now they need to go a little bit quicker. They do. Again, just a little bit isolated, and that is going to be turned over, but they've got the comfort of the penalty. McCarthy with the semi-backpack tackle, not like the one we saw at Adelaide. So they're going to look to try and build from a line-out. Shouts of not out early. Johns. He will just clear his lines. Doesn't find touch as well. Big long pass into midfield.
Save Karamoto.
I was going to go Karamoto, but well done. And they just need to try and build something. Every time they've set a platform or set a foundation, they've knocked it on or lost it forward or got isolated and turned it over. Whoa, nearly. Callum Fox manages to pick it up off his bootlaces. McCarthy show comes back inside. It's exactly the same. He's got to let him go then. You got anyway. I can't do it every time I do it. Karamoto, short ball to Muchamore. Off the floor, and Karamoto can try and run around Hade Tamai, but Tamai will steal it, but a big loud blast on the whistle. Another penalty. Offside again. And they're showing that if they can get into the backfield and if they can cross the gain line, they're getting some reward for it.
Bring some of those younger guys into the play, the Karamoto and young Makaisak Lapworth.
This time he does find touch and finds it in a really, really good position. Unfortunately, the lineup just hasn't been clinical enough. So let's see what they can do. Much more. Probably his biggest throw of the day, you would say, so far. They do get it. Now they will look to get the driving maul. They haven't managed to get the transition to the back just yet. Geez, they're having to fight hard for it. I think Souths have got hands on. Best bet is to just try and keep it going forward, get it over the line and get the 5-meter scrum. They do start to get it going forward now, and there's an arm out for pulling it down. There it is, 5 meters out. So from here, what was it? Do you take the line out again? It wasn't terrible. Just a little bit of afters. I mean, I wouldn't worry about them taking the quick one. And this is a really interesting one. I think if I was a Souths coach, I'd be saying, why are we doing this?
Yeah.
68 points to 0 up. We really don't want to play with a player down. Looks like we're just going to go with the big fella. Big fellas will be lining up now. Who wants it? Rolls inside the 5-meter line. Gonna look short side. Well, 2 players hit the dummy runner. So he did his job. McCarthy fires it out into midfield. Doesn't quite get there. Fortunately, the bounce didn't go, but they are going to come back. And I think somebody in a green and red shirt is going to come and sit in the naughty chair. I don't know who he's going to pick, but the dummy runner got absolutely munted by 2 of them.
Poor Petey Muchamore.
Who's going? Kami Kamitha? He showed it to someone and no one moved. Who's going? It is Kami Kamitha. There he goes. An inauspicious return to. There's some smiles on faces behind.
Not against your mate.
I know. But I think it was the number 2. I think it was Pete Muchamore with a look at the smile on his face. And he's getting some friendly ribbing as he makes his way back. I think it was Pete Muchamore ran the dummy and got absolutely smashed by 2 of them. God bless him.
A man who's played just about every position on the field for the Rams over the years he's played. Giving Petey a bit of a wink before they engage in the scrum.
So Samuel comes out the back, has to find McCarthy. He'll fire it flat into midfield now. They'll try and loop it over the top. Just couldn't bring it in. Play on, referee. It doesn't matter. It's all okay. Put it down. Try to the Barossa. Just signal the try. It's fine. I don't think we've got it. Going to ask about the knock-on.
Karamoto's claiming it. Why not, ref?
Yeah, just give it. I think there's just a little knock-on from the winger just there. It's a good finish from Karamoto. But there's just that little knock on. Does he give it? He's okay. It is a nice finish, and so Barossa will score the first try, their first try of the game. What is it? No material effect on the game. Let the knock on go.
Well, he doesn't have the benefit of our replay.
No. Someone was asking, actually, I was talking to someone before the game about the drone footage. We saw the drone go up, and he was asking whether we could get live drone pictures. I'm sure we could. We're very, very close, I'm being told, from our producer. But I think the next step for Spacequake Sports would be a TMO. I think we do get the replay quick enough.
Yeah, right.
And it wouldn't be too difficult to have a referee sat behind us. The problem then is just finding enough officials, isn't it?
Exactly, yeah.
Because we're then going from a team of 3 to a team of 4. But it certainly could be done. I think we're ready to go on it as well. It's just a case of working it all out. It's on the way, but not going to get there. So 68 points to 5. Yeah, it's difficult not to call that a knock-on, but
there was hands, there was boot, who knows?
Yeah, he missed his hands. It just bounced forward off the floor. Rugby ball does bounce in strange ways. So the comeback is on.
Never say never.
Turned over again, but a little knock on, and it'll be a south ball, so there must have been a couple of knock-ons. There is Conor McCarthy, who came on at half-time. Also, we should mention as well, we're in a really interesting time of the year where people are trying to make sure that people haven't overplayed too many games in A grade and need to have got enough games in the reserve grade, and it's all chopping and changing, isn't it, at this point?
Absolutely.
The abacus are out on a Tuesday and Thursday night. So it'll be a scrum, fairly decent blindside for them if they want to use it. Well, it's lost against the head.
I didn't see that coming.
No confidence in your own scrum?
No. South didn't see that coming.
Oh, South definitely didn't see it coming. Much more. This time he goes with the ball. McCarthy, flat ball again. Works quite well, and now they have got out to the wing. Comes back inside, looks for the safety of numbers. Ripped out by South. I think they should get the choice of the line out of the scrum. I think that's the last one. You'd take the scrum, wouldn't you?
I would think so.
So here it is. It's a completely different looking pack for Souths, and back to their more mobile pack. Oh no, it's a hook against the head. How good is that from Mr. Muchamore?
Very versatile.
He'll want the replay of that. He'll make that his profile video. Little knock on again, so an advantage to Barossa. They're starting to come into this one. Well done. That's a tough ass casting to hold off Stanojevic. Now they'll look out to the right hand side. Again, they'll just come back in and look for safety in numbers. All lined up again. McCarthy has to pick it up off the bounce, and then we'll just put it high and handsome. Rowe does very well though. But no advantage, so coming back for a penalty. Offside again. This gentleman in front of us, Tane Skipper, in number 19, he's been stripped and ready to go for like the past 20 minutes.
Well,
Come in, coach.
As a physio, he's on the long warm-up.
Yeah, he's certainly got the long warm-up. He's been ready to go and hanging around the coaches and whispering in their ear every chance he gets.
Ready when you are, coach.
So they'll have a line out and inside the 22. So we pass the hour mark on the Wojtek scoreboard. This time they do make the back work. Can they get it going forward? It's come down very, very quickly. All clean though. McCarthy shows, then flat ball into midfield. Big step inside. Gets to that's how close he is to the line. Gets over there. Try scored. Barossa have scored their second try of the day.
Isaac Lapworth.
And there's another whistle. Talking about something. Second try. The comeback is on, ladies and gentlemen. Don't go anywhere. Good flat ball from McCarthy, and that step inside from Lapworth. Whoa, no, I can see what they're asking. Good goal line defence from Souths. Just manages to get there. That's how close he is. Went up really, really early. Hands on heads from the South. I don't think they thought he got there. There he is, talking to the referee, the number 19, Tane Skipper.
Maybe the ref can call him on.
I know. The cameras are going to be here, coach. Let me play. Conversion is good. So 68 points to 12. Let's see whether we can see. Oh, it's hard to see from that point. You don't see a grounding. So what we're talking about, referees and TMOs, that obviously on the field he thinks it's a try, and there's nothing on that that can overrule that.
Yep.
Try given.
Absolutely. Unless he asks a question of somebody else, he's
well, I mean,
tell him otherwise.
It's all to do with the wording, isn't it?
Yeah,
As
exactly.
Tamai will not get that to go the 10, but the Barossa decide they want to play with it. Short ball again, and line speed from South still is good. A little bit of friendly fire on the bottom there, and that one is knocked on by Moore. Scrum down, South's ball. And so it's either try, no try, or I've given it a try. Is there anything you can see?
So you're either looking for evidence to confirm,
Yeah,
or to refute.
or then you go, you know, what are you seeing essentially?
Yeah.
So scrum down. Lots of field to play with out on that open side. Well, that looks like Kami Kamitha's day might be done. Wiggett. There's Tamai on the inside. Flat ball, almost intercepted. Very, very nearly went to hand. So 68 points to 12 by Malmas with the conversion from Lapworth. That's him. Oh, very, very close to scoring his second try of the game as well. Would have been a foot race, always fun foot races. So scrum to Souths, smack bang in midfield. Facing absolutely everybody over there. There is nobody on this near side. Everybody is far side. which has given Dave Eaton a huge blindside to work with if he fancies that he can beat the winger and the halfback. If they nick one against the head, they've got numbers to this near side already, if they can nick one against the head. No. So they do decide to go this near side. Eaton steps back inside, has McCarthy on the outside. Now we do have our foot race, and McCarthy is going to win it in this near side. Just back themselves. Just looking in midfield. Look, Graham Newton, who is reaching the autumn of his career, shall we say. The try was scored, Eaton stepped inside, gave it to McCarthy, and then McCarthy, it's just all about the pace. And while all of that was happening, Graham Newton didn't move. Conservation of energy. Love your work, G. It wasn't until the last minute that he had a look. He's going to try and convert his own try from right out here. There we go.
That's the future of the Rams.
That's the future of the Barossa Rams.
With his parents playing for the club.
Pulled it, it's never going to come back. 73 points to 12. You just have to trust that you can get your halfback around there and get a 2-on-1 with the winger, and then that's about all there is. So Lapworth will restart again. Had a couple of good ones in the first half, some real contestable restarts. This time Purcell will take it and make another couple of yards. Klopp comes back on the angle. McCarthy to Wiggett. Wiggett shows and goes, got lots and lots of space. One-on-one with the fullback, sits the fullback down. Then he presses the loud pedal. Offload to Rowe. Good tackle from behind. Managed to get it out to Tamai and scrambly, but they're going to get the knock on. I would be very interested to see this tackle on Rowe, to see whether that came over the shoulder. If it didn't come over the shoulder, it's about as good as it gets. He's done very well.
Great job. Worth again. He's having a great second half.
Starting to make a name for himself. But scrum to south, lots and lots of room to play with. I think the days of exit plays are gone now. I think they're just going to go from here. Scrum will go down. Ball's available though. So no, we're going to reset it. So we approach about 10 minutes to go on the Wojtek scoreboard. Just a little bit of a hold up while we all reset. The interesting thing about Linddock Oval as well is in the middle there's a concrete pitch. A concrete cricket pitch, which you manage to turf over every year.
Yeah, quite an exercise to cover it over and pick it up and yeah.
Get it all knitted in.
Yeah.
more solid from Barossa, and they are going to exit play. Lapworth will just send it away. Looks like they're going to try and go quick, which they do. Out to Rowe. Rowe loses it in flight. Has to work very, very hard because he is very, very isolated. That's got to be a penalty. It is. Just lost it in the flight. So it worked. As soon as he was on his own, he had 2 Barossa players on him. It was never going to work well for him. It's not a bad penalty, to be honest. It could have happened in a worse position. Certainly from a coaching point of view, you'd want him to concede that penalty at that point. So Barossa will have the line out in a much better position than they thought they were going to be. Go to the front of the lineup, scrappy again and lost. Newton will pick it up. McCarthy to Purcell. Wiggett steps inside one. Can't quite get past the second one. Been turned over by Moore. He looked imploringly at the referee for something. Everyone just kind of stopped at that point. But they have advantage again. McCarthy tries to shake out the tackle. Can't quite. Gets the ball away though. And they will go out to Lapworth again. They've got numbers. Oh, he needed to give it. Eventually gives it back inside. Then McCarthy again. Steps back. Manages to get through the first tackle. Then met by 3 Southern Suburbs jerseys. Getting closer. Comes off the long run. Right off the boundary line. Moore again. Ball does come back. Now they'll come out to this left-hand side. Just a short angled run into the 5. Support comes quick enough. Again the angled run. The big fella bounces off the first one. Dan Crosby. Little cheer goes up from the crowd. Into midfield. Muchamore looking for some space. He's going to come back eventually. Pick and drive. Then Moore will go. Shouts of another one. They're just taking it off. Stanojevic very, very quick off the line. Possibly too quick because there's an advantage coming. So they pick at him again. Now they will go. McCarthy. Oh, that wasn't meant to go there, but they've got to come back for the penalty. That's okay.
There's a mess of Barossa bodies on the floor there.
There is. Cramping. There's a whole lot of stuff going on. It's like an outtake from MASH. I'm sure they won't mind me saying it, but it's the more experienced players who are slow to get up. Sean McCarthy just pulling on that calf, a little bit of cramp, I think.
It's Joe Samuel, isn't it?
Sorry, Joe Samuel. Sean McCarthy is the number 10, who's been relatively impressive. I think as well, if my maths are right, Barossa are winning the second half. It was 61-0 at half time.
Yes.
So Barossa are winning the second half. There you go. Take what you can out of it.
Get them.
Not too much longer. And finally we see Tane Skipper makes his way into the fray. He finally got there. So scrum down, a little chat between McCarthy and Samuel to see what they want to do. Struggling, I think that cramp's kicked in. So Samuel will feed it. Good solid scrum. Out to McCarthy. McCarthy, flat ball. Half found his way through. Makes his way really, really close. Now they'll go quick to McCarthy. McCarthy will step back. Then we'll look to this near side. Might get something. Can the winger finish? Comes back inside. He's on his own. Does the full 360. Would have been holding the ball. Bounces its way forwards. Lost forward, but there's a whistle. He has gone to the pocket. Who's going? That's Navatu, the centre. For offside again. Been a number of offsides down in this red zone, and there's been a number. Yeah, it is offside, but there's been a number of penalties down in this red zone. So they're going to play with a player down again.
Feeling the heat, the Horsehouse players.
Now they're going to go just the one out. Can't get through Eaton and Porter. Eaton certainly putting on a show for getting out. Moore picks and goes. Ball's going to come back again. Flat ball. Too flat though. Now would there be a... we'll talk about it at the break, I reckon. Oh, wicket comes flying out of the line. They do still have the penalty in the pocket, and they're going to go back for it. So, my point is, you send somebody off for repeated infringements for the one before, and then the very next phase of play, there's another penalty. Why is there no second yellow card? Try scored while we were talking about that, and that's
Tim Pelquist Hunt.
Tim Pelquist Hunt getting his name on the score sheet. All three of them. I think we can certainly put it to bed now. They're definitely winning the second half. McCarthy will step inside. Has he managed to offload this? Oh no, he's just reached out. It's McCarthy. Tim Pelquist Hunt just got the camera try. That'll do. It's been an interesting second half. I mean, South's made wholesale changes, but Barossa have just managed to keep hold of the ball a lot better.
Yeah, this half has certainly been better at that security and that word consistency.
So 70 points to 17. Lapworth will look to take on the extra point.
See on the screen that Mark Cooper appears to be watching, possibly from the waiting room at the hospital.
Okay. I didn't see whether that went over. Did that go over? I hope you are okay, Mark. I hope it's not too much. Just let us know. Just pop it in the comments. I doubt very much he's been seen just yet, though. Probably only just got there. But he'll be very pleased to know that they won the second half. There's no real argument about it. And there's another stoppage as the assistant referee comes in. Not entirely sure what that one's about. But, you know, I think it's a really interesting talking point. If somebody gets yellow carded for repeat infringements, and then the very next phase of play there's another infringement, do you go, well, no, he's looking at a pocket again. Are they going to go two down? They are going to go two down.
Juggle the card.
Well, he did well to catch it. So they've gone two down, so they'll play the remainder of this, well, the remainder of this game definitely one down. I don't think they're going to see another, I don't think they'll see Navatu come back on as well. Not sure what that was for. Whether he said something to the assistant referee, whether it's dissent or not, I don't know. So Tamai will restart us. Just couldn't quite get it, but a penalty. Offside, so the knock on into Connor Moore. It's a penalty. Pointing to the corner, they're going to give it to McCarthy, to Jones. to John, sorry. Goes with the left. I'm not sure whether he's a left footer, but he went with the left and did very well. So they've gone the shortened line out, just the 4 in the line out for Souths. A little bit of confusion from Barossa. Managed to sort themselves out. So Graham Newton will put the ball into the line out. Good from Brody Porter. It looks like they're going to try and build a driving maul from there, but Stanojevic decides he wants to go. Tackled by skipper. McCarthy into midfield to Klopf. Klopf runs on the angle and McCarthy gets him. Porter looking to bookend the day. Dave Eaton will go and he will stretch out. They're just going to ask the question. He looked short for mine and there was nothing from the assistant referee. Shake of the head from Ben Ridley. But he's given. So Dave Eaton will get another try. Should get a decent view of it from our camera down away to the right. It looked short for mine. There's another, is it a Barossa? I think it's another Barossa player down. Hard to see from that angle. I think it was somebody who was underneath that pile. So McCarthy has probably been South's most successful kicker. Will take the shot at goal. Can't quite see who that is on the floor. I'm not very good at recognising knees.
Callum Fox.
Oh, there we go. Just getting up quite gingerly. Shoulder. Well, he's already gone at that point. Oh, he's just rolled it, I think, onto the line at that point. McCarthy, after a long wait, will knock it over the bar. We are... So now I make that 17 points to 19 in the second... sorry, 16. 19-16 Barossa's way in the second half. So a penalty in it. We are in red time though. Can't imagine there'll be too much longer. There has been some injuries today though. Deep one to Johns. Manages to run through the first tackle. Oh, almost had his hands away. McCarthy just kicks it behind. Keramoto will come across and get it. Penalty though. Another offside penalty. Seen a number of offside penalties this year. The referees are certainly looking at that. Ball will come back. They found a muddy patch over there. McCarthy to Rowe, to Eaton. Looks to get his hands free, nothing there, so just decides to put his foot on the loud pedal again. Make another couple of inches. McCarthy has to go digging for it. Does get it eventually to Tamai. Tamai with the show and then the go and manages to shake through. One-on-one with the fullback. Beats the fullback. Looks for Purcell. Looks inside. Looks outside. Gives Stanojevic another gift on his birthday. And unfortunately for the Barossa, that gives South the lead in the second half as well. That would be close to being it, but it was almost like Tamai had an allergic reaction to scoring this try. He did all the hard work, beat the fullback, and then was adamant that he was going to give it to somebody else. There's nobody in front of him at this point. He did all the hard work, and then, oh well. They say charity begins at home. Not entirely sure Stanojevic knew he was coming or wanted it. And McCarthy will get the flags go up again, and that will be that. So the final score, 84 points to 19. It's a blowout again, but a much better second half from the men from the Barossa.
No doubt about that. They certainly should be proud of the effort they've put into that second half.
But as we talked about in the game, and as we talked about at half-time, there was the future is coming at the Barossa, and all of you who live up this way and wear the pink and black have faith it will come. As far as Souths go, that will, move them and cement them into that Premier Grade side of the finals, and they'll look forward to it from a wonderfully picturesque Barossa Valley. I've been Dave Webb, been joined by Fraser Vivian. Thank you very much for choosing to spend your afternoon with us, and we will speak to you again soon.